Hello. Some people said I was crazy when I took on the job at Gascoyne. I think I'm just a glutton for punishment. Alrighty, so we'll get straight into it. That's what we've been doing for the last 18 months. One of the first things I did when I came into the company that was formerly Gascoyne was to get them drilling, because I certainly wasn't going to go into the darkness without knowing what was in front of us. We followed up one single drill hole, which is just off to the left-hand side of that page there, and it's now turned into a 952,000 ounce high-grade gold deposit, less than 400 metres from a 2.5 million tonne per annum processing plant. So, having a bit of fun with drill rigs, which is what makes geos happy. Disclaimer, corporate, again, as Paul pointed out, my numbers are actually wrong here. The share price is higher, market cap is higher. Not really sorry. Three biggest shareholders there, very supportive. 1832 Asset Management came on late last year when I presented at Beaver Creek. They obviously could see what was going to happen here, and I've been part of these stories a few times before, and I'm happy to say this is probably the best one that I've been involved with. That's the board on the right-hand side there. I won't go with too much detail here. You will have a copy of this at some stage, and it will be recorded, so you'll be able to go back and review your notes. Mineral resources, that's just establishing what we have right now. The grade of the project at Dalgaranga is double, more than double what it was when I took on the project. Never Never, as I said, is 952,000 ounces. An amazing ore body. We have a very strong focus on high grade and drilling. Sounds really obvious, but unless you actually do it and deliver the results, it's just words out of my mouth. But when you see the drill results, it gives you a lot more confidence. Flagship asset, obviously Dalgaranga in the centre of the page there. Yalgoo Gold Project off to the left-hand side. Unfortunately for Yalgoo, finding an ore body that's this good, 400 metres from a plant, makes it very difficult to go 110 k's down the road and drill that project, but we obviously will keep that one ticking along, but we're very busy at Dalgaranga, our main focus. So I apologise for any visual effects that may cause vertigo in the crowd, but I'm trying out my little 3D software here. So this is our project. You can see Golden Wings off to the top right-hand side there. You've got Gilby's pit in the centre, and your mill, I'll just go with that one this time, is right there, where the red is. So that's how close it is to these deposits. The circular pit schematic there, north of the Gilby's pit, is Never Never. So that's how close it is. Almost unbelievable. As I said, very focused on growth. We built our foundation, we brought everyone back to the story. I wanted to change the future before I changed the name of the company. Kerry Stevenson in the crowd, apologies for not getting to you earlier, but she knows the story very well. It's been an amazing journey, one of a turnaround, and one where I'm pretty happy to say most of the team that was there when I got there are still there. They're part of this journey, all shareholders. By virtue of the fact that I have a unique incentive plan to make sure that all my staff hold shares in the company so that we are all moving in the same direction as the shareholders in this room. We're funded. End of the last quarter, we had $39.2 million in the bank. We are spending quite rapidly at the moment, as geos are quite good at doing. I have 5 rigs. That's certainly not cheap, but we are getting some really good return on investment for those metres. I was always told by my former boss at Northern Star that value is created with the drill bit, and that's what we're doing. Again, just to drive the point home, that's the mill, less than 6 years old, an amazing plant, just a standard CIL with a gravity circuit. Green ellipse is Never Never, that's how close it is. It's almost too close. There was a haul road built over Never Never to get to the Gilby's deposit, which seems reasonably ironic. That's it from overhead. I'll just zoom out a little bit. This is a good way of looking at it from the south to the north. Never Never at the northern end, plant in the centre. And then importantly, there's a fold in the stratigraphy. You can see it running down from top left to the centre of the screen and then off again to the right-hand side. So I'll just draw a line in here and show you where the fold goes. That's pretty much, everyone can see that? That's pretty much how the geology is. It's lots more complicated than that, but we won't go into that detail. Sly Fox off to the right-hand side there is actually the highest grade deposit at Dalgaranga before we found Never Never, and that'll become an important part of the story as I go through. Apologies. Press the wrong button. All right, let's get into the good stuff. This is the cross-section we put out just recently. This is to show that we hit on top of the 952,000 ounces that we put out late last year in December. We made a really good drill hit, 170 metres below that. The grade on that, 11.5 metres at 36.77, including 4 at over 100. Some incredible gold in this system. As I've said, I've been part of these journeys before, but this is by far the best one. We're waiting assays on that hole just above, but when you look at it, that red area there is our resource. This hole is 170 metres below that. If you're running an average of, let's say, 2,000 ounces per vertical metre prior to making an extension to the resource, and your minimum extension you've just made is 170 metres, which we know it'll be bigger than that, but just do the maths. 170 times 2,000, that's a lot. That's our potential to add to this resource. That's without assuming that it gets any wider. And that's the Burj Khalifa for scale. So the highest building in the world. Go outside, have a look at any of these buildings around here. They pale in comparison to the size of that, and our ore body is bigger. Very small writing here, but I like to show off, so if you want to go back at your leisure and have a look. Some really good drill hits here. Newmont would be knocking the door down back in the 90s and 2000s if they saw 300 gram metres. We have lots of them. Just to show, we went from 300,000 to 700,000 to 952 in 6-month blocks. That's how quickly we can grow this resource, and we don't plan on slowing down. As I mentioned, ounces per vertical metre. At the moment in the underground, it's 1,691 ounces per vertical metre, and that's just the average. That includes the lower grade end of it and the area that's starting to increase as we get deeper. My lines are a little bit out of whack, so I apologise. They should be sitting on the 1,000 ounce and 2,000 ounce lines. This is significant. 1,000 ounces per vertical metre used to be a trigger for a lot of companies to get involved, because that's a good endowment of gold to be able to mine, to offset the mining cost, to then generate profit. We're talking about something that's twice as good as what used to be the trigger at record gold prices. Just zoom out a little bit here, you've got Never Never on the left-hand side there. This is just a bit of an indication of grade. That's above 2 grams, so Never Never obviously is all above 2 grams. But underneath the Gilbey's pit, what we started to realise was that Never Never was not the only high-grade structural system in this area. There's 2 more at least. We call them 4 Pillars and West Winds. 4 Pillars is actually at the termination of the pit. And it's funny because the termination of the pit is caused by a structure that creates a high-grade chute, just like Never Never. So we're drilling under that at the moment. We put out the other day 15 metres at 6 grams, which is certainly not indicative of what was being mined previously at Gilbey's. We also have off to the right-hand side, or centre to the pit there, is the West Winds prospect. That's right through there. Again, another structure. And the thing is, you could believe what I said, or you can have a look at the reconciliation data, and trust me, it was reconciling 30% above block grade. So whatever we were estimating, we were getting 30% better gold through the plant in those areas. So we kind of knew that something weird was going on, but we didn't have all the pieces. This is a long section view. Never Never off to the left-hand side there, you can see the incredible endowment of that system. There's a 250 metre scale bar there. This system started off as an east-west system, which is basically coming out of the page at you. This whole stratigraphy is dipping towards you, and everywhere there's a break in that stratigraphy, there is a high-grade chute. So as I described before, Never Never is an incredibly endowed system. And what's happening at the moment, as we get deeper, every MD says it, gets better at depth. It does, simply. It gets wider, the grades are maintained. We're now almost 250 metres in strike length at the bottom of Never Never. But one of the really important things that we've started realising is these structures may come together. Between the end of Gilbey's and the base of Never Never, where we're starting to see it creep towards the south there, which is the right-hand side of the page, we're testing that area right now, and I think that there's a bigger system here. I think they all come together, and you can obviously use your imagination. That would absolutely amplify what we're doing here. Just to give you a bit of an indication of where we're drilling at the moment, I won't go through this in too much detail. Never Never is obviously priority 1. That purple area in the centre there is where we're drilling that potential link between the whole system, so it's not super deep. apologise, we followed the very high-grade system too deep and forgot to drill immediately adjacent. So we're going to go back and do that now, because to me, we could get deeper, we could prove that it goes forever, but at the end of the day, you guys want to see us drill something that we're going to be able to mine in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, not the stuff we could mine in 12 years. It's a really good problem to have, but we have a huge system here. Priority 3, I only call it that because I've got a better target in between, but I'll get into that in a second. Underneath the Gilby's pit, as I said, 4 pillars and west winds, amazing area. We are drilling that area at the moment. As I said, 15 metres at 6 grams, which is 6 times, more than 6 times the grade of what the previous resource was being mined at. So I'll go back into 3D again. Just zoom out a little bit, just to show you that fold again. You've got Never Never off to the left-hand side in the upper part of the page and the fold that I showed you before. So Sly Fox sits at the end of that fold. Ooh, stop drawing, please. All right. Here is Sly Fox. Off to the right-hand side here, just in this area, narrow high-grade chute. Very similar orientation to Never Never, very similar mineralisation, but we weren't really excited by the grades at that point. Plus, as I said, we had a really good deposit that grew to almost 1 million ounces really quickly, 400 metres from the plant. So even moving to where this deposit is, around about 1.8 k's from the plant, was, priority 3. But when we had a really good look at it, the only reason it looks like a narrow high-grade chute is because there's only 5 drill holes that say it. So what we did exactly what we did at Never Never. We tested the extents. We wanted to see how big and how broad, how wide we could make this system. We've already intercepted, 13 metres, 18 metres of mineralisation and 50 metres of mineralisation about 60 metres away from where this high-grade chute is. So we don't know how big this system is yet, but we're certainly going to find out. And what this does is gives us optionality. We already have an amazing deposit at Never Never. Everyone can see that. I mean, we're talking, 30-metre stope panels at really good grade, really consistent, 400 metres from the plant. But what's better than that is to have some options around that plant to be able to give you different feed sources. So we're drilling that area now. The purple areas on either side. Obviously, the orange area is where we thought it was going to go. The purple area has already started to come back. So it's a 28,500 metre drill program we're doing in the first half of this year. We're certainly not mucking around. But we're also doing a gravity survey across the main granted mining leases there, because not only do we want to leverage off these 3 or 4 targets we've already got that we know have high grade in them, we want to find some more within 2.5 k's of that plant. Because to me, on granted mining leases with all the permits in place, with a plant already there, where's the downside? As I said, strategy, growth, plan, drill. 28,500 metre drill campaign, solid targets, regular news flow, exploration target coming out shortly, resource update due middle of this year, all exciting. Why invest in Spartan? Facts. I can stand up here and tell you how good it is, and I've done this for 20 years and I've never seen anything as amazing as this, and it would all be true, but when you look at all the drill hits, you can tell for yourself this is a pretty special story. Proven high grade, proven infrastructure, we're close to the mill, ounces, growth, team, compelling value. Some would argue we're a little bit expensive now, but that's a good thing, right? We're getting that share price up. I still think we're undervalued, because this thing will be a world-class system with a plant right in front of it. Thank you.